boy, it has been a minute, and I'm still doing weird stuff with feathers. We got some pieces of whiting American rooster saddle. I've said that once or twice. And we're going to tie them onto a hook using some highly modified long, thin pieces of plastic wound around another piece of plastic. Now, I did just change my shirt. Because there were drool or spit up or some sort of fluid stains from my roommates that are honestly quite needy and not that smart. And so it's like, dude, and I'm paying for all of their stuff. I will be very shamelessly, speaking of, plugging. We got some flash and a piece of foam here. Plugging a project that I'm going to try to stop smacking my lips on that. Sucking my teeth, I believe. That's what they say. I think that's different than shamelessly plugging Skool, S-K-O-O-L. I'm going to be doing a project on that with my boy Jack, and we're going to be charging a monthly. I can't do multiple things at once. Stop asking me to advertise so that you can pay me money. No, we have a pretty cool vision for it, and I think that it's just a way for us to get this knowledge out in an environment that is ours, with people who are interested in being in that environment, which is certainly not for everyone. So it's not, fly tying 101. It's going to be very much a lot more streamer and saltwater focused. But if you have any experience with me on my boat, I'm sure I've said it a lot on different videos. I love tying dry flies. Jack and I both, did our growing up and fly fishing with nymphs, as many people do. I still really like tying them. I guide on a couple tailwaters, the South Holston, the Watauga, and just picking up rocks and seeing. There's some science, there's some art, like it's really cool. It's almost a very pure form of fly tying where you're really trying to mimic that thing, versus streamer tying. We're doing a lot of action work and profile and water column and all that, and it's like with nymphs, I'll trash on it here and there. It can be a little boring, but you're trying to imitate something that a trout is going to look at and say, I want to eat that, with no action. And so looking at bugs and trying to create some of that stuff on a really small hook, I think it's just different. So in any event, Jack and I are going to be going sort of head first into that. We've been trying, but these pets, he's got a new roommate as well, and they take up so much time, and they're loud. They smell. So we're going to do bucktail, flash, whiting. You can use hackle. Maybe some like meat. One of the reasons I like, now here we are in subtangent 5 bullet point C. I think one of the reasons that Jack and I want to do this, it's going to be more of a podcast. We've recorded a few episodes, but both of us struggle with imposter syndrome and perfectionism. So I think my vision, Jack shares this vision. We share visions of many things, including giant brown trout demolishing large white flies on the two-hand burn. But somewhat of more of a podcast. It's going to be him and me. Grammar check. We just got some holographic flash over there. Tying flies, talking about, thread decisions and hooks, and I can't do the instructional, right? I've seen just through the subscribers, people fishing with me on my boat, book your trip for trout or musky or smallmouth in East Tennessee at elliswardflies.com, that I want to talk about a bunch of different stuff, and there's a lot of different things within each one of the things that I want to talk about. So, and then I just totally lose my train of thought. That's why being on the boat's so great, is that in 4 hours I go, oh yeah, when I was talking about the rooster saddles? And they go, what? Because it's been quiet for 15 minutes? Go, yeah, no, I was talking about that like at 9 a.m. They're like, dude, it's 8:30 a.m. What day do you think it is? I'm like, dude, hold me underwater for a little bit. I'll give you a tap when I'm ready. So I don't like super dense wrapped chenille that is this long over tails. It's going to sort of glob up, and this tail is already, you get kind of thick there. So I started it a little, not just right on top of the tail, and then less cautious with these wraps. One of the big points of this fly, outside of this one-aught, is I want something that's simple and effective. And now, at the same time, I will say, this is inspired by a deceiver. And my audio is going to be trash. This is inspired by a deceiver with a cone head on it and a woolly bugger, or a rusty trombone, or whatever other combination of two hooks and some stuff that Daddy's not happy. I think that's probably going to do. Ooh, we may have cracked the code. So it's bucktail, flash, feathers, UV polar chenille, bucktail. Optional to wrap with marabou. I dig it. I think that adds a little opacity. So this next tie of bucktail, and we're just going straight ties, nothing fancy here. You can French this up all you want, but yeah, after fishing with Ron who moved and caught, I don't even know how many fish, good sized trout, while fishing on the Watauga, while fly fishing on the Watauga with me and Jack. And he was fishing these dog shit $3.50 big Y fly co, like up eye salmon hook versions of the quote unquote conehead deceiver that is an articulated deceiver with a conehead on it. Now, Jack assured me after I was wildly insecure, which happens pretty regularly, that Ron's good at fishing. I was in the back seat just not moving fish. But it's that post-spawn time of year where we're moving dogs, but not many of them. And Ron was just getting all the shots. And just absolutely farming all but 2 of them. It's fun fishing with you, Ron. I can't wait to see you again. Bring your kid. I need the business. Help. He fished the same damn thing all day. I mean, for 2 days in a row. And it pounded fish. So I wanted to start tying these, or get something that felt closer to this. There's a couple different reasons why I like this. One is, there I am sucking on my teeth again. I want it to be simple. So unlike the swim bug, which I just tied up one of these. Oh, God. That fishing, the casting is remarkable, but things take some doing. Fishing a swim fly, you can get that thing dog walking pretty well. It takes a little doing, and really one of the difficult parts of fishing the bigger swim flies and the buoyant swim flies, the ones with a lot of action, that isn't a jig, not an up and down action due to weight, which, thank you for the reminder. Oh no. Is that your casting needs to be, your angles, the stuff's got to be right. And sometimes it's hard. And also, like, not just is it hard to do on a consistent basis, and like, man, for the folks who are learning, it's just not the first. I mean, some people are quicker than others for sure, but it's almost like it's like starting to tie with deer hair. Like, okay, you can only tie flies if you pack deer hair. And it's like, well, that's going to turn a lot of people off from fly tying, since it's difficult to do. And here's another thing. While packed deer hair is very cool, generates a lot of action, there's some buoyancy, it is certainly not the only way to go about fishing topwater. You can just use foam. You can tie, I mean, some of these foams head, you just stick, bloop, and then throw some shit on behind it. You put that near a fish that wants to eat and give it the right action. It's more of your fishing that's doing anything than the fly. So I don't want to restrict. I don't want to restrict us, and it's also the case that swim flies are not always the best option. Like, it's great when you can get a 2-foot brown blowing up sideways on an 8-inch fly that's 4 inches below the surface when you're just tap, tap, tap. Just these little, you're stripping 6 inches, throwing darts into your left leg. And then a trout bigger than you've ever seen just comes up right on the tail and gets... You're going, dude, what is going on with this? And so you got some engagement, and at that point it's your job to convince that thing to eat. And it's, you know, that whole process takes a lot of data. It takes a lot of exposure to it, and getting that exposure to it takes, in many instances, investing time and money in guide trips. But if not, it's a lot of time on your own wade fishing, or it's you having your own boat, knowing the water, probably a lot of tying on your end as well. And so you want to add on to that these 1.5 hour long videos with hydrodynamics and buoyancy and air resistance. And again, I love all this stuff. It's just at the same time, I get sick of myself talking, and I know it turns a lot of people off because, largely speaking, it's not necessary. And I will stand by my claim that if you take an olive woolly bugger, I'm going to try to find some lead here. Look, I found it. If you take an olive woolly bugger and you chuck it into the right place at the right time, the fish is going to eat. It's just the other times. And then also, the fun of fishing and tying is you get to make your own little creations and take them out and see what they do. So I'll put the link to school in the video description here, and you guys can look. Don't support me and Jack, okay? The money's going straight to our kids. They're just these little tiny helpless babies. And, you know, Daddy needs a few new reels. I do need new reels. But it benefits you, because then you come and fish with me and you go, well, hey, I bought that reel for you. And I go, yeah, I saw that $5 a month. How about you step it up, buddy? I don't appreciate anything anyone does for me. Where were we again? Right. Articulating this and putting some lead on that. So add on to all of that, you know, dubbing loops of rabbit fur and all this other stuff on the swim bug that, God, when you get one of those things right and you see it doing its thing in the water, it is, I continue to get messages and, you know, feedback from clients and strangers, and just like, Ellis, you know, I tied this fly, and it's taken everyone a couple years to get on board, because I've been talking about it as being a nightmare to tie, because it kind of is. But you know, started fishing this and second cast and biggest brown of the day and haven't moved anything. Like I borrowed so much, so heavily inspired by so many things on the Drunk and Disorderly and the general break from reality that is exhibited regularly by Tommy Lynch. Also, get a trip with that dude. He's a complete maniac. Great guy. They say don't meet your heroes, but meet that one. Just as fishy as they come, and really, really nice. And you're gonna, unless you really are opposed to it, unless you fight him, maybe physically, I don't know. I bet you get scrapped. Not aggressive, but, you know, poke a bear enough, right? You're going to come away a better caster, and it's probably going to be, I haven't casted a streamer with him. Just roll cast, just these giant roll casts with untapered triangle headline. You're welcome, Tommy. These big foam golden stones. We're doing a little super glue, and that wire is Scientific Anglers 40-pound bite wire. And now I think what Jack and I are going to focus on outside of 30 minutes of, let's say 50% of the time, so 30 minutes of every hour just being relatively incomprehensible shit talking and giggling like schoolgirls. It's going to be talking about, you know, I just sort of went over very, very quickly. That's Scientific Anglers 40-pound bite wire. We got 30 minutes of some chatter. This versus that, why it doesn't matter. That versus this, also why it probably doesn't matter. What our preferences are, the different applications to it. Yes, we've tried that shortcut, and even though it sort of works, it's just better to get the thing that is made for what you're doing. All that type of stuff. As opposed to, you know, 40-pound bite wire. It's nylon coated, so that super glue is super grabby to it. And now with this bucktail, I kind of want it about halfway over. So we're just going to shorten up those butts even more. And when you're tying a, you know, 4 or 5 inch fly and you're using 2 or 3 ties of bucktail, you can do some quick math to say, oh my gosh, I'm plugging more product, which, damn right, we got mouths to feed, and I work hard to create things that I'm very proud of. So I process and sell and dye a lot of bucktail. And everybody's always asking me, Ellis, how do you keep your hands looking so good? I go, well, it's a little thing called attention deficit disorder. And so when I put things onto a hot skillet, I forget about that. And I go outside and I'm grilling something or probably screwing around with bucktail. And then I come back and everything's about to turn into a grease fire. And I'm going to kill my family. And so then I take that off and I put it in the sink because despite knowing better, I want to cool the pan off so it stops smoking. And so I burn the shit out of my hand. Everyone's always asking me about that, so that's my answer to that. Everyone is always asking. Soft, crinkly, 5 inch plus, easy bucktail fibers. Yeah, dude. You and legitimately anyone who has ever heard of a beast fly or a hollow fly or a FLEYE something. I get it, dude. Truly. They're awesome to tie with. I mean, god dang. This does not belong onto, I mean, this is the length. The longer fibers are the length of the entire streamer. I'm going to say 4.5 inches. Yeah, those longer fibers are about 5.5. Like all this stuff up here, that's a grade 2. I'll tell you what. elliswardflies.com/bucktail. But you don't need those. You don't need the super nice bucktail. This is a scrap And I'm pulling away these longer fibers so that I can use the shorter ones. All right, I gotta hurry up. We got babies inside that are about to blow up. And a very, very patient girlfriend. And baby mama, I should say. Did I mention school? SKOOL. We kind of have the community. I joke about it a little bit, but it's just, all jokes are serious. There's people joining. The newest is 4 months old, and then we have a 17-month-old, and a 7-year-old. Dude, it's absolute, unadulterated chaos. There is no semblance of anything. Sanity, sleep, predictability. It could be totally good when I go inside. And if I went inside 5 minutes prior or 5 minutes later, same probability of it being completely good. Same probability of it being an absolute train wreck. So, as much as Jack and I don't know, it feels like he's better at holding it together even though I got 10 years on him. I have been either off my meds or needing meds or something. Not in a place to be talking to people about tying flies just because, it's been bouts of guiding, just really busy. Shout out all of you psychopaths. Steven, you're an animal. Truly. Ben and Mark. Jacob, Nick. I feel bad not having the other names right off the top of my head, but there was a stretch there in late January to early February where it was 4 or 5 days a week, and it was a lot. Like, we had a baby in December, so like all of a sudden I went from being home most of the time to not very quickly. And I think the warmest day was a high of like 45, and then every other day for like 7 trips. God, this is bringing back memories now. Was below freezing. And I shit you not, I've never been so sick. So most of these guys, one of the reasons that I'm so pumped on my clients and you guys making post-spawn as great as it was, is that it's musky fishing. It really is. It's difficult, and then you get the opportunity, right? It's difficult because conditions are just uncomfortable, and you get the opportunity. Notice how not only am I not talking at all about what I'm doing, I'm being pretty fast and loose with these butts. So look, you can tie, right? We can do this. Okay? See how pretty? You probably can't. Yeah, all those beautiful. We're not going to. We're not doing that. That's not what we're doing. We're doing it quick and dirty, and we're going to feed this thing to fish. I had a lot of folks fishing this thing. Oh, dude, Curry and Jesse, you want to talk about absolute broken psychopaths. I mean, these guys, I can't believe, I should probably be bleeping their names out, honestly. I mean, they work with children and families, and like, it's scary that those people exist. Now, Curry and Jesse were great, and Jesse stuck a 2-footer, maybe it was 23.5, we're going to call it 28, and Curry got, I think, 3 eats through the surface. He was fishing kind of a beefier one, a little bit more of a profile of 3 hooked. All right, now we are doing the optional grizzly marabou wrap. I'm also going to throw on, we're just going to ruin some of this nice. See, like we don't need that. Get a grade 4. Get a grade 5. If you're tying these things, if you're tying trout flies, smallmouth flies, get a grade 5. I can absolutely, without question, assure you that it is the right tool for the job. I'm still going to cut. This is, I don't even, it's a grade 5. But still, wimpy enough to where I have so many of these that I'm just, I don't even know, waiting for a commercial tire to manifest outside of my front door and say, hey, can I get all of those not really big tails that you don't feel comfortable selling, even though it's under market and they're actually cleaner and better than the commercial ones? Can I get all of those from you, Ellis? I'll go, yeah, get the fuck out of my house. You don't need the big ones. So I do want to somewhat err on more up top for the sake of keeling, and that has to do with both buoyancy of the material and drag. So when we have more drag above, I'm promising everyone right now I'm not going to get into pressure differences, but there is science to it beyond just one thing floats, so you put more of it up top. I also don't want it wrapping around the hook, so I try to keep those bottom ties kind of sparse. And we are going to do a little super glue. Keep this gel spun thread. If you don't want to use super glue, that's fine. Go fuck yourself. I get it. I am going to switch over to 140. 140 denier instead of 100 or 150 GSP. I'm not doing any more bucktail, and I like it for grabbing feathers and these little chickaboo feathers, grizzly marabou, whatever you want to call it. They're wimpy up top. And so to hold on to stuff with GSP, you need to use tension, and there's no stretch, and so I would cut right through these. That's the problem there. The meat dog. I hadn't figured out what to call it. And truly, kick rocks if you have it's just this with that. Like, dude, every fly is this with that. So I'm not taking a whole lot of pride in ingenuity behind this one. I like that it's simple. It uses a couple of my favorite materials. You have so much room to play, right? It's not just this or that. It's I like putting a big tie of some longer bucktail on both the front and the back, or some big palmerines. Like, we're going to do another layer, but not because this wouldn't fish. I just don't like that gap. Do not like it one bit. So yeah, this is called Grizzly Marabou, but it's really, you can find this stuff at the base of Grizzly saddles. And I finally ordered some because I keep sucking my teeth. Because I done run through. That shit ran through. I've run through. This could be done cleaner, okay? Alright? Get over it. I've picked through every single saddle for the Juicy Chickaboo. Now, when I say it could be cleaner, I tend to like either filling those gaps with something. A little bit of chenille, some ice dub, whatever, but it's not adding a whole lot, and Daddy needs to go inside, so please check out school. I appreciate everyone's support for this little boy living his dream. It's amazing. I can just not care so much about so many things, and then I go, no, this is not okay. I will not allow it. I will not allow it. Okay. We have to be okay. We have to be okay with a lack of perfection. It's never okay. I'm never good enough. All right. Enjoy yourselves, everyone. This is the meat dog. That meat dog. Took that from Jesse.